Welcome back, folks, to match number 2 on the day. It's the first of 2 matches featuring Outlast. This first one, Outlast took the kids. Now, Cookies, you're joining us. You're coming in here. You're talking about Outlast. This is all but a must-win for them. Things are looking extremely hairy if they don't win this first one, but it's not definite. So it's still exciting. Even if they can't win this first one, they still have a shot at redemption. But talk about their roster. Tell us a bit about your thoughts on their stage thus far that's found them in this tight position.
Yeah, it's not been the stage that they wanted it, that they wanted, okay? It's been all over the place. They do have an epic win against a team that currently is number 1 in Aerial Arise. Outlast has potential, right? Tron Woos, compared to the 2021 version of the team, this team has some gunpowder. They have some firepower. Just smack my mic. They have the ability to smack you in the mouth, but they need to put it all together. As with, I guess if we sum up the stage, Atheno did have a stretch. He's our favorite YouTuber in Challenger League, but he did have a stretch where he was a little Mickey Mouse. He didn't do a whole lot. He had like 1 kill in 40 rounds total. I don't know. It wasn't his best. But I think this team is at proper trajectory. And they do have a good matchup today. I think they can take on. I think they can take on TookTheKIds.
They can take on the kids. Is that it?
Take on.
So TookTheKIds. This has been an exciting team, Connor. This is going to be a tough team to beat.
You might have said that if we had the original roster, but there's a little bit of trials and tribulations here because Tragical, apparently behind the scenes, had some issues. And now Packer, who has played 1 game, and it was against Aerial Arise on Theme Park, he's coming in.
Ooh.
He's going to be playing for the highest rated player in CL. The pretty big shoes to fill there, and it's going to be hard because even on their support side, Trist has put up an LFD post as well. He's been dropped before the stage even ended. So even though he's playing, how hard's he really going to be trying? You're kind of going into like a toxic relationship that the girl already broke up with you, but you had reservations for a nice dinner. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a difficult game.
I love the name Packer as well. I don't know why. I don't know if this is just me, but I think of The Office and Todd Packer, how they call him Packer, and I just think of this wild card player stepping in that you just don't know what to do, but probably unrelated. But Cookies, these points have never been more critical for Outlast.
Yeah. Yep. You know what? TTK. Like I said, Outlast, it's been all over the place sometimes. They don't fall up in their drones too well. Sometimes their attacks don't make sense. Sometimes defenses...
Do they know they have drones? Do they know it?
I think so. Sometimes on their defenses, they're rocking... I'm not joking when I say this. I'm dead serious all the time. Sometimes on their defenses, they're rocking Doc Shotgun, Oryx Shotgun, Valk Shotgun. You can fully expect that today. And the thing is, Connor, I don't know. I feel like that's skimping on details a little bit. Maybe you should bring the most effective operator available for the operation that you were trying to commit to in winning games. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Because why are you bringing that? Why are you bringing Doc Shotty? That doesn't help. They've had like 0 return on that.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing is like, sure, we can just boil it down and say Outlast, haven't had that great of a season. They're currently in 11th. However, today is like their biggest day. They can all of a sudden save themselves from relegation because they got 2 matches back to back. They come out, they put a good showing. They start putting the pressure over towards Aqualix, who not only has to play this Outlast team if they catch fire, then they also have to play Aerial Arise, who are gunning for the number 1 seed. It's not easy for Aqualix to not get relegated, especially if Outlast come and set the tempo against a potentially weakened TookTheKIds team, who you have the giant question, CJ, of who's going to fill the aggressive nature of Tragical.
I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea. Not Nice is incredibly inconsistent at times, especially early round. His entry numbers aren't too good. Okay, and Mr. B, as much as I like Mr. B emoji, he does, he's like playing support. He's the IG, like, I don't know, what is he, like, I genuinely don't know what they're going to do today, okay? I will say with Packer, they did have a good showing on the theme park against Aerial Rise, like you said. They won that game. Packer! Okay, so it's like, maybe there is something they could work with there. I did want to go back to my other critical point, though, as we segue into this next part, map bans. I didn't actually talk about it because I was so passionate about the first point, but that second point of map bans, and in terms of being unpredictable in this point here as well. You want to be, if you're Outlast, you want to take the kids off of their favorite maps, right? You want to take them off the Oregons, off the clubs, and off that theme park I just told you about. And I'm hoping if you're Outlast, you do that, because otherwise I'm going to be very disappointed and disgusted.
Outlast has got to be licking their chops right now. This is prime opportunity.
Right there, you see it. Get rid of club. Don't let Mr. B play club. Don't let him play Oregon either.
Especially for Packer. Packer, I mean, if you have to
like
go into hostile territory with a team that you haven't really played for that much, you know, you're just a sub trying to learn anything besides like Clubhouse, Oregon, Villa, where you kind of know how to play, things get a lot more difficult. So Outlast, once again, taking out the club, taking out the Villa, the Chalet taken out by TookTheKids. That's a smart pick because the most success we've seen from Outlast came from a Chalet match against Aerial Rise. So kind of pushing through Skyscraper theme. Those are more complicated maps, as well as the bank. Those aren't really ideal for TookTheKids to bring a new player in towards. We actually end up going to Border, which I really like.
Yeah.
For Outlast.
I mean, both teams have a reason to like it. So if you're Outlast, originally going into this game, Outlast is technically the underdogs because of how good TookTheKids was with Tragical. Obviously, Tragical is not here. But if you're Outlast and you were going for the upset, you want to go to a map where, like I said, you don't want to take TookTheKids to maps where they've been making their money. You don't want to go to the Oregon clubs. I love those bands. You take them to a map that neither of you have played. Outlast and TookTheKids have both been banning Border quite heavily. And that means I'm picking Outlast. I don't care.
I'm switching too.
I think Outlast is going to win this game. They have the better fragging pair right now. I don't know why TookTheKids dropped their best player. Okay, I don't know why they dropped the literal best player in the league. That is absurd. I love Mr. B, but what the hell? Okay, and then number 2, I think this map heavily favors Outlast in an unpredictable scenario. And I think that is why they're going to take this game. Connor.
Yeah, I would have liked. It's for Border, it's like Clubhouse, but not Clubhouse. It's shallow enough that Outlast still should have some success hitting the site, which is something that they've struggled with. They can play for their picks like they like to, activate, try, and woos. A lot of the success on the defensive side comes purely from roam presence. I think all those characteristics really add up for the side of Outlast. And I think that when you back an animal into a corner, that's where they're most dangerous. And I think relegation is a pretty dang big corner for Outlast to be in right now. They're going to try to push forward on.
Well, this is super exciting. We've got Outlast just fighting for their lives, going up against TookTheKids. And as you said, Connor, it's going to the Clubhouse, not Clubhouse map of Border.
Now, Jonah, I want to start out by saying that I think I'm going to agree with Connor and CJ. I really think Outlast can take this. Now, CJ was incorrect in saying that they ban these maps a lot. TTK have actually only banned this map 3 times, and Outlast has only banned it once.
Okay, get called out, CJ. Bam.
Yeah, CJ, what are you doing? I spent that whole pre-segment looking at Lucapedia and looking at the operator, at the map bans, because I love doing that. Outlast have only banned it against one team, and that was ATK. Understandably so. I don't want to bring ATK to that map either. Is this where we see Tra and Woos activated in full force?
Are you telling me that you are going to change your prediction?
I am. I think Outlast win this, especially because I love Packer. I think he's great, but I just don't think he brings the same firepower as Tragical, because remember when Packer played with TookTheKids and they beat Ariel, he was subbed in for Not Nice. They still had Tragical.
All right. Well, I'll get to my prediction in a moment. First, just wrapping up the operator bans, the Osa ban sticking out, something worth mentioning because you don't generally see her taken off the board, but there are some situations on this map, given how, frag heavy it is and how there are several opportunities to get the bomb down quickly, that the Osa shields can really be a nuisance for the defense. So that's probably why she was taken off the board. But as to my prediction, Harrison, I'm going to stick with TookTheKids, mostly because I don't think I could get past just that mental block that says you are not ever allowed to vote Outlast. It would just go against my very core, my morals, everything that holds me and is who I am. Voting Outlast would be just detrimental to everything that I stand for, because they just had a terrible season, right? They've had a terrible stage. They've had so many moments where they've looked like a team that just has not belonged. And maybe today is their chance, right? It's a very weak TookTheKids that they're about to go up against. A TookTheKids that isn't the TookTheKids that we've seen in the past. So, I mean, if there's any map that Outlast are going to win, it's going to be this one, but I just can't do it.
Yeah, it definitely feels wrong voting for Outlast over TookTheKids with the season that both these teams have had, but I think it's just, losing Tragical, I think, is just too big of a blow for TTK. Yeah. Especially with, like, if they had more time with Packer, sure, you know, let it rip. But I think losing Tragical like this, especially with Outlast only banning Border once, I think this might be the map that they've been waiting for all season. And I'm just realizing now, they also have a sub, right? They have Ozone playing in place of Atheno. TookTheKids are losing their top-rated player, and Outlast are losing their bottom-rated player. So I really think this is Outlast's chance.
Well, we're going to have some aggression on the side of TookTheKids, at least to start off the map. Definitely going to be a theme for the entire map, but unfortunately for TookTheKids, they may have lost Nice in this lobby. Looks like the Jaeger may have disconnected, and he will leave the game. So Outlast will have an advantage and will be looking to start things off strong in round number 1. This map, as frag heavy and as destructive as it can get, if you do not have the full defensive prowess, if you are missing a body, well, this can get very scary for you very, very quickly. Outlast are already making quite a bit of progress. They've worked their way in down below, trying to clear all of this first floor before eventually working their way up the east stairs and beginning to pressure out these extended defenders. The first player actually taking gunfights, that's going to be Woos at the top of these east stairs, but he's going to get caught off guard. Surprised from behind as Trist takes one aggressive fight and decides to go for a second. But the second one, very ill-advised, so he'll lose his life. Mr. B falls quickly after.
Jewel with a nice refrag, I guess, or a compounded refrag onto Trist, but TPA holding a tight angle will find that Nomad and make Jewel pay. TPA will not be able to catch the rotate of Tra. Also, I like to see Blank back on this entry role. I remember after a Villa game in which Blank had a very poor performance, I think he was momentarily taken off one of those entry roles, as Tra does not play entry. He plays on the sledge. He plays more flex. So glad to see him back on it with Woos and not running the LMG either. He has Zoe's AR, which is a very unwieldy weapon. So Blank certainly has a lot of audacity to be bringing it. Packer on the smoke gets one. TPA on the flank lines up another, and Ozone does not know what's going on. He gets blindsided, and it's round 1 for TTK.
Yeah, TookTheKids taking a round despite losing a body early, despite quickly getting traded out as well. TookTheKids had everything going for them, but they get caught off guard. I mean, that is why Border is such a scary map, and why, you know, teams, especially in Challenger League, are reluctant to go to it, is because there's so much that both teams can do that is incredibly unpredictable. And in a 4v5, right, knowing that they had to get unpredictable, that they were already in a tough situation, TTK decided to step up. They decided to swing. They got aggressive. They took fights and they won them. Even when Outlast was positioned to go for an execute, you still had TPA willing to get aggressive, willing to just swing from unexpected positions, retaking the top of East Stairs, and then lining up 2 players. That is how TookTheKids, how they have to play this entire map. Not just because they were in a 4v5, but like you said, we have a weakened TTK, a strengthened Outlast potentially. This is where TTK need to just pull out all of those pocket strats, all of those dastardly moves that we might not normally see from them in a regular context.
I know I highlighted why the player switches might benefit Outlast, but you do also have to consider the fact that Ozone is not an entry player. When you're slotting in an entry, it's typically not as hard, right? The IGL just says, all right, entry, I'm going to drone you in, follow it, right? Like, oh, you go here kind of situation. If you're on hard support as a sub, your job is much more important. Now, I don't think Athena was the IGL, so that weight is not necessarily on Ozone's shoulders, but things like which walls to breach and when, where the default plant spots for Outlast are, the timing of the execute dictated by that support player. It's a lot harder to slot in. So that might kind of counteract, what I was saying in the beginning of round number 1.
Well, Mr. B is the first one to take a gunfight in round number 2. He will just, I guess, dump a whole mag in Jules' direction, but he'll eventually back off, realizing that the Nomad is not likely to swing again, because Outlast, they're going through a pretty similar procedure as the last round, entering through Passport, entering down below in Customs, and taking map control from within. Mr. B, as he falls back to the bomb site, he takes another gunfight, and he loses it. The second gunfight, though, this one going in the favor of the TTK defense. It is Trist on the Vigil, who not only gets one kill, but then tries to escape, unfortunately making a lot of noise as he sprints up the staircase, so he will get down. Nice, though, steps up on the coverage, prevents Jewel from actually finishing off the downed Vigil, and he is still in a position to potentially protect his teammate and allow Trist to get picked back up.
Which it looks like he will, with another one of those teammates, TPA, rotating in and recovering the Vigil. So Outlast end up not getting the equalizer they were so desperately looking for, and now they're down a man, a minute 15 remaining, and they still haven't even cleared the top floor. There is such a heavy roam presence from TookTheKids, and right now Outlast are stalling out. They are sitting here holding angles. Trist is going to walk into one, but Woos doesn't shoot. What? Sorry, not Trist. Nice. Nice just kills Woos for free because the Finka's reaction time was that of a turtle, and now it's 2 men up for TookTheKids. Mind you, again, this is a bathroom teller's defense. And TookTheKids still have this much roam presence. That Blank and Ozone seem hopeless in trying to clear. One man has backed off, back downstairs. That's Trist holding horizontally way off the bomb site across the map, virtually. And these defenders, I like how the roam is playing because they know that Outlast are going to be distracted by them the whole round. They don't need to push in. The mere presence is enough. As Nice gets his 3rd kill of the round, Ozone can't find his in Customs. It's Packer to swing around from tellers, and it's 2 rounds in a row for TTK.
And 2 dominant rounds at that, just running all over the map, and Outlast are showing that they just don't have a handle on the map as a whole, at least through 2 rounds. I know this is still early days, but you need to find a way as soon as humanly possible, if you're Outlast, to prevent TookTheKids from running all over the map as freely as they're doing right now. Like, Jules bringing out the Nomad, but we haven't really seen the effectiveness of those air jabs in terms of limiting defensive rotations. Gotta figure out how to make that happen. Of course, on border, often when you're going for a plant, sometimes you're gonna use those air jabs just to prevent a run out or aggressive on the outside of the building. But we're seeing TookTheKids showcase so much freedom inside the map, and Outlast proving that they just don't quite have a handle on how to prevent those rotations and how to prevent them getting caught off guard by that aggression. Of course, now that we're in round 3, as we progress through their attacking half, they are likely going to get a handle on this. They're likely going to realize that they have to watch every corridor, every room, because TTK, they're going to be swinging every time they get the chance.
And now TTK have the pulse, so now they might be swinging with info, which is a very dangerous game. Outlast are going to adapt around it. Woos and Tra appearing to switch roles, and Blank picking up the IQ specifically to make Packer a little more uncomfortable using that cardiac sensor. TPA, as we know and love, will of course be playing very far forward, wanting to meet the attack as soon as they come into that east balcony. He hears a drone to his right, but Outlast are not really pushing the top floor all too heavy. It's just the sledge of Woos, if I'm not mistaken, with the rest of them kind of outside, like, detention and such. I can't really pin down where the main entry from Outlast is aimed. All the players are relatively spread out.
I guess right now they're trying to establish as much, outside control as possible, opening up a lot of angles in maybe an attempt to slow down the rotations of TookTheKids.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Blank will, overstay his welcome and really just send it in an ill-advised manner. Nice is also on the top floor to support TPA in holding this one down, but he won't get the opportunity to strike just yet. Instead, Tra is the one to find the scoreboard next, removing the pulse. A very important pick at this stage in the game. Very early days in round 3, and the pulse, that intel force, is already removed.
A big supplement to that upstairs roam. Well done to Outlast. The C4 potential also removed, being the only one the defenders had in their pocket. Drone will come in, spot out nice. I'm sure the attackers also can see that little kill hole he's got in the bottom of the wall. Tra has stopped watching Customs. Trist is over there as the Vigil, right outside the doorway. Ozone taking some damage upstairs while attempting to hold the long angle against Nice, and the clock is ticking. Once again, Outlast's clear of the upstairs is very, very slow. They've already lost one body, and it seems like that scared them off into over-hesitation, not wanting to lose another.
All right, this is the problem when you're dealing with this aggressiveness on the defense, at least this level of it, is that you get scared. You don't know where the defense is going to come from, and that slows you down. Woos has a chance here, but botches it as he just shift W's his way into the doorway. Ozone is here, and he'll find his first kill by taking down Nice, but, well, TPA will also fall. Mr. B will bounce back, though, return us to an even 2v2. Despite a good mid-round effort there from Outlast, it is once again going to be an uphill climb. They have less than 30 seconds to go. Only now is Ozone getting this hatch open, which will force Mr. B to relocate, but Jules gonna have to find a way to support his teammate. Right now, they've got to bunch up, and they only have 14 seconds under the 10-second mark in just a moment to get something done. The flashes come in, but Mr. B, he can see just fine. He'll have no trouble getting this kill.
Oh!
Just kidding! Ozone takes him down. All of a sudden, it is Trist last alive. He's gonna go up top in an effort to deny the plant, but the air jab's finally proving effective, allowing the bomb to go down, and the botched opportunity from Mr. B, well, it may have just won this round for Outlast. Now Trist has to do all the work himself. Now he's the one who has to worry about the clock. Ozone and Jewel, all they've got to do is sit back and wait, and Trist is taking the long way around. He's got pings on his position. Jewel knows exactly what he's dealing with, and that is an easy swing for the Nomad, and a surprise round win for Outlast. Mr. B fumbling a couple of bullets there, and really putting his team in a tough spot.
Despite a very slow clear from Outlast, they were still able to find the necessary trades. That's the highlight for this round. For the first time in this game, Outlast got trades. They were there every step of the way to make sure that TookTheKids couldn't roll over them and take too great of a man advantage. And although it was worrying with the time running ever so low, like you said, Mr. B missing his shot on Ozone, you gotta give it up to the Thermite player there for landing that shot as soon as he hit the pancake drop, hit the floor. Mr. B was dead, and Trist couldn't do anything. If that air jab as well had not been covering the metal door, Trist would have probably gotten to that hatch in time and denied the plant. So also, well done to Jewel. Both of those players having very important parts in that clutch. And now, you know, sure, Outlast have a round, but it was still a bit worrying how they won it. You know, it was still very slow. It came down to a miraculous shot from Ozone, which Mr. B should have been able to deny. Does not fill me with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's not generally the best way to go about winning a round, but at the same time, it exposed TookTheKids for a couple of weaknesses, right? I mean, Outlast were able to get a couple of engagements going their way eventually, and when it came down to the more patient, you know, sit back and wait style, right, Mr. B didn't quite know where to look, didn't have the awareness that, you know, the hatch drop would be coming in, that he would have to be pre-firing that position. Good shot from Ozone, no question about that, certainly making his impact in round 3. We'll see if Outlast, though, can finally speed things up, like you were saying, Harrison. Just winning a round thanks to, you know, a miracle gunfight isn't something that's all that sustainable. You've got to start to speed up your map control, speed up this clear, and finally figure out a way to prevent TookTheKids from running rampant and swinging on you in every single position. Here's a good start in this round. Blank, he knows exactly what he's dealing with in terms of Nice. Another drone on his position. Hard pings, but a beautiful shot from the Jaeger. Once again, it is TTK with the opener.
Nice, as we know, loves his Jaeger, despite numerous players complaining about having to use the gun now. Nice makes it work, and he makes it work pretty consistently on the defense. Blank goes down. Outlast, again, struggling to make an entry into the building. They've done, once again, another operator swap, putting Tra on Iana, giving Wooz the Finka back, I guess, figuring that he is in desperate need of that LMG, of those extra bullets. And Tra watching metal stairs, blindsided by the Jaeger, as Nice lands another great shot. He's got someone standing in front of him. It's the Finka. Unfortunately, his time to shine will come to an end. Unable to get the frag on Wooz. It'll be a late refrag, but a needed one for Outlast. But Trist watching the balcony on Catwalk, removes Jewel from the equation, and as Wooz falls next, it's Ozone, the sub, in a 1 versus 4.
At some point, you just gotta sit back and chuckle a little bit here. I mean, Outlast, I don't know why they think they can keep taking these 1v1 gunfights against TookTheKids and have really any chance in the round without playing very, very coordinated. And again, Outlast will run with the same strategy. They're going to devote about one attacker to a number of different positions, much like we saw them do in round 3. And once again, TookTheKids, they are going to run around and they're going to collect those kills. In terms of gunplay, in terms of sheer firepower, 4 rounds in, TookTheKids are showing us that they are better in terms of gunplay. Outlast, I'm sure they can heat up and I'm sure they can get some confidence back and maybe match that gunplay. I mean, the team, they earned their spot through those qualifiers into this stage of CL for a reason. They can shoot back when they're activated, but right now on border, shooting back is clearly not working. They've got to figure out something else. They need to try to get more coordinated and try to play a little bit more together. We did see a good start, at least a good sign in that round, where we saw several players on Outlast pushing in through detention and trying to work their way into customs. That was a good sign, because there was one player they were trying to deal with together and force him out. Obviously, Nice ended up getting both of those kills. The third one eventually ended up taking him down. But on the other side of the map, everywhere else, it was 1v1 engagements against individual roamers. The roamers won those gunfights every time.
Now, you know, the bright side is that, well, I don't really know if you can call it a bright side or a saving grace. Outlast have never been a good attacking team. So this is not necessarily a surprise to us. The entire season so far, I mean, the only time they've ever gone positive on the attack was on Chalet. Like, big surprise there. And, you know, they can put together defenses, but how much are TookTheKids going to run out the score? You know, by the time Outlast get to that defensive side, if they start taking rounds, is it going to be far too little too late? Hopefully they can take, you know, at least one more and secure a 2-4, because 5-1 in a situation like this where your opponent is just clearly does not care and is simply running around and killing you every time you try and enter the building, trying to fight against that on the defense, you know, at that point you're already demoralized. TookTheKids are going to try and do the same thing on attack and just push in and take fights. It's tough. So hopefully Outlast, you know, can get at least one round together in the next 2.
Well, they'll hope to get a start by pressuring in this top floor. Tra will get down, but a quick response from Wooz with the Finka boost will pick him back up on his feet, and Wooz will leverage that into a kill. Now 2 kills. Off screen, he will pick up a kill onto both TPA and Nice, 2 of the most pesky roamers. These ones that just have not been dealt with in the other rounds and have been a serious problem. Very good productive difference here for Outlast that they've already gotten these 2 kills. They have, you know, as many kills as their entire team combined, and now without them, Trist, Mr. B, and Packer will have to step up. Tra was able to get finished off after, you know, initially downed and weakened. He was finally killed, but it'll be a 4v3 with Outlast holding a man advantage for the remainder of this round.
Tra also getting taken out by what looked like just poor crosshair placement was a bit unfortunate to see, but, you know, Outlast have the quickest top floor clear that we've seen so far from them. It looks like Packer was thinking about retaking, but a drone will shove him back down. Unfortunately, though, for Outlast, they've lost their slot. They have breaching charges on Ozone, but he has already used all of them. I think opening hatches and whatnot. I know he used some on vertical, but it was over towards workshop. So not a whole lot of vertical play available to this attack, which on this site could certainly hurt. Hopefully they are not too bogged down by it. Wooz will hit his surge. Is there going to be any push off of it, though? not just yet from Outlast. They're still just holding their positions, and that was the last one. Packer reveals his position a little too early, though, and dies to Blank, surmounting this man count for Outlast. It's just Tristan Mr. B against the world. Mr. B lands a nice headshot onto Jewel. In comes the ace, but he's blindsided by Trist. His teammate will fall, and behind the shield, the Vigil tries to take the fight, but Blank comes in from the back, and Outlast take their second point.
Outlast getting on the board again, and it really just came down to a good start, right? I mean, once you've got those openers, once you've got those big TTK weapons taken off the board, they just rolled that in and used that to then continue to pressure the site. This is Border. We're watching Border play out very much like Border tends to play out in front of our eyes. It is an aggressive map. It is a map that depends heavily on your ability to shoot first, to win those gunfights, and to use that man advantage that you secure to then send it and just take that control. Once they found that they had that 4v3 advantage, it was a 5v3 for a time, but once they found that 4v3, they just didn't let up on the gas pedal, and that's what Outlast need to do again if they want to take round 6. TookTheKids obviously losing those 2 bodies early put them into a tough spot, and I think that's something that they may try to avoid here by maybe playing aggressive early and then falling back in the mid round, but as long as it's working for TookTheKids in the rounds that it has been, I suspect we're going to see the same aggression for them and Outlast whatever they did in that last round on the top floor. We didn't catch all of it, but whatever they were able to do that again.
Yeah, I don't know if TookTheKids are going to go with a completely different play style on the roam. The strategy here might be, hey guys, just don't die. Which we sometimes see from teams on their roam. You know, if they play more passive, they survive way longer and waste more time, and that can be the round 1 in and of itself. But you gotta really give it up to Woos for killing both of those top fraggers early on. We'll see if Nice and TPA can say something about it, though. Not allow the Finka that much room to breathe, but Outlast are once again clearing from the detention side of things. Usually, Tra will be the one holding there, as we saw in the last round, but there's someone there. I think it's Mr. B in supply, tucked behind one of those shelves. In the meantime, there is another side to this attack, another prong, and this time it's Archives. The drone not yet going into the building to spot Nice, but there is someone on the balcony outside and on the AC window, so should Nice overextend, you know, he could be pretty easy to find fodder, but he'll back off, try and solidify the roam clear with Trist. In comes the sledge, but Blank and Tra are both very quickly dealt with.
Yeah, great support there from TPA and Nice, both playing that perfectly. I mean, Trist was also here. He didn't even have to do anything or telegraph his position. He could still get aggressive if he wants, and there it is, right on cue. He'll swing out and take down Ozone. TPA follows that one up with a kill onto Jewel, and, well, within about 30 seconds, the flurry of engagements will leave Woos all alone. We'll have to fight this one all on his own, all on his lonesome, rather. Got killed so fast, I forgot how to speak English. But he got killed in just the most, you know, classic TTK fashion. Early gunfights, aggressive kills, and they're not going to slow down. A clean half from TTK. If you're wondering what the heck we're watching, don't worry. We're wondering the same thing. It is just Outlast. In some cases, if they walk in the building and they get a kill, now we actually have a round on our hands. But if they walk in the building and they get fried, the round pretty much ends then and there.
Yep, and instead of putting Woos on that primary roam clear by CCTV, instead it was Blank. And I think like Ozone or Jewel. So they took Woos away from the top fraggers that he was able to best in the previous round, and it certainly hurt them. There wasn't a whole lot that Outlast could do in that round. Again, not a lot of team play, just kind of walking in, trying to take fights, and losing them all. As, you know, Outlast sometimes tend to do on their attack. But they're on the defense now. Maybe this is where Outlast start coming back. We got a nice little castle strategy being implemented as well, showing more depth than maybe TookTheKids had, as TookTheKids were playing a very ranked style game, which is completely understandable. They literally dropped 2 players before the stage ends. That's why Packer is playing for Tragical. Trist has technically been dropped. He's just playing with them because they don't have another sub. which is why, he's gone from hard support now to Zofia. In fact, there is really no hard support right now on the lineup. You could kind of consider Mr. B that, but Capitao is more of a flex support operator, and he's the only one with those hard breach charges as well. We've also seen Nice do some disgusting things as that gridlock. So I hope Outlast are ready. I would really hate to see this game just kind of be a wet noodle for them.
A wet noodle.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean exactly?
They're a wet noodle. They're just kind of
Just flopping around. Okay. I can work with that. Well, we'll start off this round by playing a little bit aggressive, right? We saw them initially tempting a swing on that Archives window, but now they're going to have to get more aggressive because here comes TTK. A well-timed C4 as they just read into that beautifully. Outlast were prepared for that, and TTK get blown sky high. Now it's them fighting from the back foot. When we've seen them in this position, it tends to not go so well, and even though they tried to get all that done in 60 seconds, they're now going to have to spend the next 2 minutes and likely the entirety of it finding a way to get a foothold back on this objective. They're all going to be playing individually right now. At least TPA is, as he is on the complete other side of the map from his teammates, and he'll pick up a kill while doing it, so, well, good for him. But now they still need to find a couple more. That diffuser is dropped in the objective. Somebody's going to have to pick that back up. They're going to have to clear out this map, and with a minute 20 to work with, only a couple of drones in pocket here. I mean, it is not a great chance, but it's not out of the question that they could make something happen.
And with the way they're pushing, with the direction they're pushing from, it's going to be tough to reclaim that diffuser as well, considering it's on that Archives door. Rather inside as well. It's pretty deep in that Archives door. So they're probably going for kills right about now, as TTK like to do. They do have full control of CC after TPA hit a very nice shot on Woos. Next in the line of fire is Tra, armed with that Aruni DMR. He'll be droned out. There's an LMG facing him down, but Triss still loses that fight. In for the refrag is the Gridlock. Can't hit it just yet. Jewel and TPA will trade, and it's all on Nice. He'll get the kill he was looking for, and it's Ozone and Blank left in a 2 versus 1. They've got Echo Cam, so plenty of intel is still in the favor of Outlast. As Nice walks in, you can hear him being pinged by said Echo, and Blank will finish him off. Outlast, take that first defensive round.
I mean, just a clean round from Outlast that once again started with the opening kills. That's what we've been talking so much about on Border, and that theme will, no doubt, continue. Their first defensive round taken in a large part due to the TookTheKids aggressive move that they just weren't quite... They didn't have all their options covered. All those little possibilities for Outlast. Let's just say TookTheKids didn't fully understand what they were walking into. Border, what makes this map so explosive, quite literally, is the fact that soft destruction is king. Explosives are king. And on the defensive side, even though we didn't see it much from TTK on their defense, because again, it was focused on gunplay and less on utility, nitro cells are king here. And we saw Jewel make perfect use of his on the mute, dropping down the hatch the moment he sensed a rush coming, pre-placing that C4. Once he got the call, he clicked the button, he blew him sky high, and that pretty much took the hopes of TookTheKids with it. So a good attempt, right? And you love to see teams getting aggressive because on this map, this is a perfect territory for that kind of play style. But Outlast read into that, and they shut it down without much of an issue at all.
Yep, all down to a good C4. Now, I don't suppose that's going to happen again for Outlast. They are bringing Tachanka this time. So, different operator than we saw in the previous round. They are still bringing the Echo as well. So, a lot of info, especially with 2 bulletproof cams on top of that. They have a lot to work with. No smoke. They sacrificed the smoke for that Tachanka. So, I guess... slightly more denial in terms of time, perhaps a little bit harder to get it in, and certainly smaller radius. Trist has swapped off of one LMG onto another, and TookTheKids will be tasked with clearing this roam.
Mr. B will start that one off. Packer as well. Got some intel to work with, spotting out Tra on the castle, positioned over in CCTV. Long angle being held and a beautiful shot with the UMP. Nice gets slammed. The gridlock, that flank watch, and, well, Nice, who has been critical in this game so far, is already taken care of. Tra gets 2? Are you kidding me here? TookTheKids are feeding this castle kills, and where's the response? Nowhere. In fact, the response comes again from Outlast when Jewel throws up another C4 and claims yet another victim. Within 2 rounds, that is already 3 Nitro Cell kills for the Mute, and now, well, TTK are going to do something to bring this one back. TPA himself will walk in and take down Ozone, who was not paying attention at all. But Blank getting that refrag leaves Mr. B alone in a 1 versus 3 scenario. This one not looking good for the Thermite once again. Minute 30 to work with and 1 drone in pocket. When you got to face check these angles and go against 3 defenders who are not going to give up these kills for free, Mr. B has got quite an uphill battle. Let's just put it that way.
We've seen him pull it out, though. Mr. B has done some wonderful things in Challenger League so far. Really got to give him props for it. But right now, he's sitting at 2-5. Outlast are sitting in corners. And we just want to take a minute to digest that round. That was on Tra. Beautiful castle play. I mean, incredible shots being hit with that UMP. Not only did he get 2 kills, but he was also stalling TookTheKids out enough for Jewel to get in position for a C4. So there's 3 kills right there. And although, you know, Ozone maybe wasn't paying full attention, was asleep at the wheel, you know, you still had Blank to come in for the refrag. So Mr. B will not be able to get a single kill. It'll be 3 still alive from Outlast at the end of the round. And Jonah, our score has now been tied up.
Yes, it has. And I don't know what it is about this map, but attacking teams here look like they just don't know what they're doing. I mean, we are now 8 rounds in, and I'd say 1.5 rounds, it looked like the attacking team was going to win. Outlast, of course, won a single round confidently. They won another round not so confidently. And TookTheKids haven't looked like much of anything since they've transitioned to the attack. You'd think this map should be a little bit attacker-sided, given that it is a gun-heavy map like Coastline, right? It doesn't depend all that heavily on your ability to bring out utility and to go for slow clears and to get hard walls open. It just depends on your ability to get some frags. And right now, the defensive teams are finding a way to use this map to perfection. They're running all over the place. They're surprising the attacking teams. And right now, we have yet to see, other than the 1 Outlast round that looked clean, we have yet to see an attack look comfortable on this map. If Outlast aren't going to give up kills for free here, which really just needs to be their main focus, we're going to have to see TookTheKids go through something transformative, because 2 rounds in, not a good sign, just to see where they're at right now.
And they're going to have to pull something out that we haven't seen before yet this match, if it continues to be as unsuccessful as this. This drone will go in. It'll spot out TPA. The nade goes through. He will be able to kill Nice, finish off that Zoe before he goes down, but Tra is still not in a good spot. There's the refrag from Trist, so it'll end up being 1 for 1. I mean, Tra's job largely done. Maybe could have wasted a bit more time. Really unfortunate that he got caught out with the impact in hand, but at least he was able to trade himself out.
Blank has this nice angle here, and he will spot the head of TPA, but can't quite finish it. It gets turned around on him. He overstays his welcome, just pre-firing that angle, thinking he had a chance there. But TPA will whip around through the floor holes and take him down. I mean, sometimes taking fights on those angles just comes out to which bullets are not going to catch the metal between the floorboards. Are you going to get lucky and catch the headshot, or are your bullets just going to clip the metal, and are you going to miss all of your bullets? And in the case of Blank, did not land a single one. TookTheKids, for the first time on the attack, have the advantage. A slight one, but an important one. This map, if it turns into the trade game on this execute like we normally see, TookTheKids will be starting that trade game in a good spot. You've also got a little bit of a rat play going on this top floor from Jewel the Mute, trying to hide under the table in break room. This is something we've seen before, but he's been droned out, and he'll quickly fall away into potentially the waiting arms of TookTheKids, but for now, he's just fine.
Hacker is just around the corner, and Jewel seems to know. Beautiful kill, beautiful timing there. Really got a feel for Packer in that scenario. But it'll even the man count. 3-3. 50 seconds remaining. Desperate for soft breach, they'll use the exothermic charge on that hatch. They didn't really need it anyway, so no harm, no foul. They'll be able to get the main hatch open. And unfortunately for the defense, this is the big advantage that the attackers currently have. There is no one on the site itself. They are all rather far afield, but do they know about Ozone? He'll be able to get a pick through the hatch, smoke up to finish Mr. B, and it will be successful. Beautiful stuff from the smoke. Woos another on the Trist, leaving TPA alone. He's got 2 kills. He's got 1 kill. Rather, he'll need to find 3 more. He's lit up all the way from Workshop. He does not have the diffuser in hand. It's still upstairs. He has no time to go for the kills. And Woos will finish him off before the clock expires. That leaves us, Jonah, with an Outlast lead.
Yes, it does. TookTheKids, kind of the opposite of the way Outlast won their first attack. This case, it was a good start, but a bad transition. Right back in that second round, it was Outlast, or that third round, it was Outlast who had a bad start, but had a good transition and a good execute. This time, it was TookTheKids who just cleared out the map pretty well, right? They got those 2 kills they needed. They were looking good. They did lose a body in the process, but overall, they held the advantage. But when it came down to transitioning, down a man, transitioning to the site, and actually going for that push, that's where the problems started to pop up again. They did not have all the intel about where those defenders were positioned. You said, Harrison, that they weren't all on the site, that they were spread out in a couple of different positions, and as dangerous as that might be to leave the site exposed, for Outlast, it also gave them the chance to catch TTK off guard once again. Mr. B opening the hatch, peeking that angle, getting fried, finished off by the smoke. At that point, TookTheKids were in trouble, and TPA, he could not take 3 different fights at once. There were very few safe spots to hide on that first floor, and, well, he got himself killed soon after. So Outlast, since they've transitioned to the defense, they have looked good, and they have looked dominant, to be fair.
This is what I'm saying. Outlast, terrible attacking team. One of the worst in the entire league, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I've never been impressed by an Outlast attack. I guess with the exception of that game against Card & Co., like, they had some pretty okay attacks. They were still 3-3. But their defenses, strangely enough, Outlast's defenses are pretty solid. Like, they're a decent defending team. And if you give them that 4-2 half, that's where they have the opportunity to come back. Now they find themselves up around. Like you said, we are going to need, I think transformative was the word that you used. We are going to need something transformative from TookTheKids if they want to take the round. But already nice. We talk about him all the time. Stellar performance as Jaeger on the defense, but super inconsistent on the attack. He'll be shut down instantly once again by Tra.
Yeah, crazy inconsistent, losing several of these opening duels and not allowing himself to be a part of the rest of the attack. When it gets down to the nitty-gritty, TookTheKids have not had most of their competent fraggers towards the end of the round. Trist has been heating up a little bit on the attacking side compared to his defensive performance, and that is refreshing for TookTheKids, but they're going to need that. It's not just a want, it's not just a desire. They need him to heat up without Nice alive. With Mr. B and Packer not putting up respectable numbers here, he's going to have to find more than just that kill onto Tra. Use that Finka utility to allow him to get aggressive, to take those gunfights. If he can do that, this round could open up and TookTheKids could have a shot. But right now, they've got this top floor mostly cleared. Still one player to find. But Jewel
the
leveraging that
jump in.
soft destruction we talked about. We saw a vault in from Mr. B and a shotgun to greet him. A C4 goes out and nothing is found, but Blank will step up, taking down Trist, the player we just talked about. It leaves TPA and Packer to fend for themselves, and Outlast are hungry for these kills. Packer gets one, but quickly traded. TPA, he's been spotted. He is now taken care of quickly by Ozone, and Outlast come out of nowhere, and they put themselves on match point.
I love that rotation from Jewel. I really questioned it, especially because if they had been peeking through that little, pixel on the doorway through the floor holes in box, the attackers could have seen Blank drop. It looked like Mr. B was holding it, but no. Or sorry, not Blank, Jewel. But Jewel was able to get away. Rotate in with Blank, who was still holding CC or Customs alone. So he knew someone had his back. Jewel gets the kill from underneath on Mr. B hopping the window, and Trist, unaware of the secondary player there, tries to refrag from the hatch and is caught off guard by the Jaeger. I love it from Outlast. Again, their defenses have always been their highlight. Jonah, they have since won 4 in a row. They're on map and match point. Outlast want this game. They want to be the hell out of the relegation zone. If they were to win it right here, they would be at 10 points. They would be tied with Aqualix, and they would be positive 3 rounds on this game, bringing their total to negative 12. That is only a 5-round difference between them and Aqualix. And remember, they play against Aqualix later today. If
Right
Outlast,
after this,
and yeah, right after this on stream, if Outlast win both games, it's gonna be quite a tight race. And if Gasher gets sent to relegations, I can safely say I never thought that Gasher and Afer would be in a position where they might be relegated from Challenger League.
Do you think that's a long way off? Because Outlast have to find a way to beat Aqualix. Which, to be fair, Outlast are putting in quite a performance right now. But is it due to their success? Or is it due to TookTheKIds and their mistakes? Right, it's a little bit of both right now. That's probably the answer to the question. But Outlast are going to have to use whatever they're finding on this map right now. They're going to have to turn it into whatever map they've got coming up next. Because if it's not Border, right, they're going to have to find a way to win rounds that isn't simply off of gunplay, that isn't simply off their ability to run all over this map and make the attackers pay for just looking at the map. They have to find a way to win this one with discipline. Maybe they can showcase that some right now. I mean, look at this. They're not getting too active. They are sitting back. We're seeing some utility being used by Ozone. We're seeing this utility come out from that Shumika launcher. C4 goes off, though, and finds nothing. So that is a piece of utility that Outlast will want back.
Jewel knows that he's going to be hunted. He didn't know TPA was just around the corner from his window. Now it's nice watching the angle. Quick peek out the wall. Bait TPA for the moment, but as he pushes in, this could be an easy kill on Woos. Tachanka Fire will miss. Jaeger slightly distracted, but there is someone covering his angle, and there it is. The info communicated by Blank covering his angle will allow the kill for Woos. Opening onto TPA, another for Woos on Trist before Ozone is refragged, and look at this. The Jaeger gets away scot-free. Chanka was never meant for plant denial. He was meant to delay the triple wall push, which he's done successfully. It's been 2 minutes. Outlast are up a body. Echo is still alive, fighting and killing Packer. 4 versus 2. Jonah, we could see Outlast win right here.
It looks like they're about to, unless Mr. B and Nice can pull off something crazy. I mean, Nice is going to try to go straight into the objective. Mr. B, though, has to come in to provide that coverage to get this bomb down, but they will deliver the kills as promised. Nice picking up that one onto Jewel. Mr. B, the follow-up onto Blank, and this has become a round. We've got 30 seconds left. Mr. B lands himself a triple. Woos is going to have to find all 5 kills in this round if he wants to win this one. There it is. He takes down Mr. B, leaving 20 seconds on the clock. Nice now has to find a way to get this one done, but the diffuser has been dropped, and Woos has an angle from which to watch it. Now Nice is going to work his way back in the objective. maybe trying to pre-fire an angle, maybe hopping off this diffuser, but look at this, he simply does not have the time. Behind the coverage, here comes Woos to step up, the bomb goes down,
no!
Nice wins the fight, and TTK, they survive one more.
Wow, what an attempt from Woos, but Nice is just better. This is what happens when Nice is left alive on the attack. I always talk about how good Nice is on the defense. He is a savant, a virtuoso with Jaeger's 416, but on the attack, he very consistently struggles to get things going in the early round. But if he's left alive, if he's not opening picked, he does things like that. Nice, clutching up, getting the plant down. Woos just playing slightly too passive, allowing the gridlock to get the plant and the come up. Well done to Nice, but we also gotta give it up to Mr. B. Again, he has been in these scenarios so many times, and he almost never disappoints. Mr. B's consistent clutch factor is incredible. It can never be doubted. 3 kills at the end of that round, finishing the top floor clear, holding off, making sure that Tra couldn't exude his presence on that hatch. They must have had a drone or something because Mr. B was sitting there on the floor. I thought he had already gone down to join Nice, but he was still there. Denies Tra. Sure, he gets taken out through the wall by Woos, but again, in that 1v1, Nice was just better. Outlast 4 versus 2. Dropping that round. I really hope that that's not enough to completely shake them, because they still looked good, right? They sharpen up that defense just a little bit, feed Mr. B just a little less, and they take that match right there. They just have to reset, not let it get to them, and play their game once more.
Well, Outlast, I mean, I guess the win condition is kill Nice. That seems like the solution. I do like the fact that TTK have made the adjustment to transition Nice from, the Zofia to the Gridlock, right? Transitioning from more of the entry role to a little bit more of that flex and that flank watch role. Just a position, right? A role that inherently is a little bit more passive and allows Nice to stay up and potentially stay alive for a little bit longer. And as we just identified, Harrison, as you mentioned, that is one of the keys for TookTheKids' success, is if they can keep Nice alive, if he can be in the clutch in these moments to put TTK over the top. So focusing on flank watch, just getting down those tracks when he can, allowing the rest of the team to be the ones responsible for making that entry, giving that one up to Packer and TPA and Trist most likely. Of course, Packer does have the breaching hammer, so it really will be Trist and TPA likely to be the primary entries here. But, I mean, you can look at Nice as well. Not afraid to be a space maker, to take this map control. He's already working his way into the main waiting area and trying to maybe open up a couple of angles to work with. He'll also establish these track stingers on the floor to prevent any sort of flank up the east staircase.
We'll see if Woos is able to have as successful of a roam in this corner as he did in the previous round. It was 2 kills from here that he was able to get, also in part due to Blank covering his cross and feeding him a little bit of info. TookTheKids are taking their time. 1:30 down, and Trist gets a kill. There's 2 for each team now. They knock Woos and Ozone off the board, so those are your Office and Fountain players for the defense now dead, but you do trade back Packer the Sledge, an incredibly important operator for these attacks to get that vertical play down, as well as Nice. So no more late round big play from the Gridlock anymore. It's Mr. B, TPA, and Trist left to pick up the pieces with not a lot of opportunity for vertical play.
Once again, it may be this waiting game, this transition between TookTheKids will have to come in, right? But they're going to be likely a little nervous to make it. This is where they've struggled a lot in the past, actually moving from that top floor to the actual objective and to that execute. In that last round, of course, they found some kills as they dropped through and as they took that control. They're going to have to find a way to do that again. Also, sizable difference, only Jewel is the one to prevent this workshop plant. You've got 2 others, both in Blank and Tra, who are well on the other side of this first floor. That could put Jewel in a tough spot once that TPA opens this door as well. Now cutting off that rotation, this site could be in the grasp of TTK. Mr. B drops in. They'll get this bomb down. In a perfect plant spot, Trist on the coverage here takes down Blank. Tra and Jewel have to make a move, and where is the action? They need to get active here, Tra. Where are you coming from? How are you getting these kills? He gets 2 with a UMP. That leaves Trist alone. Jewel will now chase him down, or at least try to, but Trist will try to head up above. He's got a perfect view on this bomb. He's got 2 grenades in pocket. He can sit back and wait. He can waste the remainder of this clock if he stays patient enough, but Tra's gonna take this fight. The castle decided to just go upstairs and get aggressive. Jewel's gonna stick this, and Tra wins the fight. It is a UMP versus LMG battle. The UMP will take it, and Outlast will take the map in round 12. Their hopes of staving off relegation stay alive.
Beautiful retake from Tra and Jewel. I thought it was unwinnable, but Tra strikes out of nowhere, uses Jewel to help distract. I think it was TPA holding in main lobby. Domes Mr. B trying to plant, and that retake upstairs. Let me just tell you how intelligent that was. I mean, both players don't rotate up. A decision I fully agree with, because Tra didn't take an active fight, right? They decided, all right, what's going to happen is Jewel is going to fake that defuse. Well, not fake. I mean, he's going to stick it if he can, but he's going to start sticking that defuse. If Trist goes in for the kill, Tra strikes. If Trist swings, Tra probably wins that fight because Tra has full info on where Trist, I mean, he can only come from one doorway, whereas Trist doesn't necessarily know where Tra is holding from. And Tra just happened to win that fight. With the UMP, no less. 3 kills at the end when his team really needed it, and Outlast take it. In regulation, they deny overtime, and they're now tied for points with Aqualings.
Yeah, the full 3 points, exactly what they were looking for. Came down to the wire. TTK almost threw us to overtime, but Outlast preventing it and making just a very impressive run on the defensive side, limiting TookTheKIds to just 1 attacking round and putting it away pretty quickly. I mean, 7-5, they took their time. Their attacks looked a little bit rough, but they were able to make their defensive half work, and they were able to put it away. We'll throw things back to our analyst, though, to talk a little bit more about this and the implications of this for Outlast's future hopes.
Man, we are getting treated to some matches so far today, Connor. 2 matches that so far, I think maybe we wouldn't have expected too much out of, but they've really turned out. Now, Outlast, there's a shot. They are slowly, possibly, and I put an asterisk beside that, working their way out of regulation.
Out of relegation, because they won this in regulation.
Yes.
We'll swing it back that way, but honestly, for Outlast, by far their most impressive game that they have played on stream. They looked good. They had some great ideas, and I think just having that final retake was a bow on a very good present for their game so far. We were saying in the call, we're like, oh my gosh, don't peek him. Just wait for him to swing. Just cover. He has to swing deep in order to see that diffuser. And that's exactly what happened. We saw, I believe it was Tra running upstairs. And it's like, yes, just hold him. Just hold him. You don't need to get over aggressive. A wonderful play. And there were just so many rounds over and over again for Outlast that looked good. JWL, he was lethal with nitros. Oh my goodness.
Cookies, you know, TookTheKIds started off what seemed pretty hot. They looked like, you know, there wasn't too much in this game for them, but they still looked like they were having this fun, loose feel on their defense, and it was working out. They had that 4-2 half. But then I don't know, they went to their attack, and, you know, credit to Outlast. Obviously, Outlast did really well on defense, but it felt like TookTheKIds lost that rhythm.
Yeah, I would definitely say that Outlast's strengths throughout the stage, really. If there was a reliable side for them, it was definitely defensively. That's where you're gonna see I'd love calling the Truckwan, Trey Woos, and of course Jewel. They all play better on defense, really. And if you're looking at the kids, I don't think it was really anything TookTheKIds was really doing wrong. It was just Outlast is just doing really good. I really like that East Hold I think they had for ventilations, Tachanka and Fountain, and you got Woo, Mr. Woos. The guy's amazing early round. He's sitting there playing that power position so well, playing off his teammates well. That's what they do. And I mean, you can't blame TookTheKIds for not dealing with it well. I think that was just really good from Outlast. We haven't been able to say a lot this stage.
Yep.
Which is why they're in this position. So I'm gonna freaking say it.
Well, you guys got the prediction right now. Let's talk to Blank from the side of Outlast. This should be a good one. Blank, congratulations. This is a huge win for you guys. Does it feel, I know there's still a lot left to go, but is that a little bit of a weight off your shoulders knowing that you got the first task out of the way?
It most definitely does. With us at least winning that, we can go into this next game like ready, but at least with less pressure than we already have.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys had a substitute player in today. How did that factor into your game? How did it work well for you? What were your thoughts?
For us, it actually worked very well for given the terms that we had to deal with, and with Ozone being like old teammates with Wes and Tra, that like unity and connection was there. So at least they had that connection, and it was able to branch off for us. And since now he was IGLing for us, and for next game, obviously.
Well, I'm not going to take up most of your time. I have been asking the teams their report card on their stage so far, but I'm not going to get you to answer that because you guys still have a hugely important game coming up right now. So I'll let you get to it. That you guys are going to need that break. Good luck on the next match.
I appreciate that.
Have a good one.
You as well.
I feel like it would be a bad omen for me to ask the report card question, you know.
Yeah.
Given it's not done for you guys yet. You guys need that next match, and you know what? I was feeling his joy, his confidence there. So I don't know. This is gonna be a tough matchup next. Now, we're gonna have a bit of time. So you know what? No, I'll save the questions because we're gonna be able to talk about this going into the next matchup. So we're going to be flipping to a break a little longer than normal as we give Outlast that time to get ready. We'll see everyone after that break, and we will break down the most important match of the day.